Hello everyone and welcome back to the Master of Tracks channel, and today I will be making a custom Tommy Thomas set based on the episode Toad Stands By from the television series. I will actually be doing this episode today by segment, which is different to stuff I've done before, so it's just to make it more organised for you guys and easy to understand what's happening in the episode. So this particular episode is based on the episode, as I said in the introduction, Toad Stands By, Season 4, Episode 20, one of my all-time favourites. Now, I've done a really rough drawing just to get a gist of how I was going to make it easier for me to produce this set going forward. The engines and rolling stock for this particular Trackmaster Tommy custom model was obviously very easy. Oliver and Toad, SC Ruffy, some troublesome trucks, some vans to go with, a couple of tankers. I have also highlighted later in the episode who they compare to in this particular episode. My goal in building this layout was to sort of make it as simple as I could, because Tommy sets were quite often very simple, especially the smaller size one. I was thinking this set would be maybe a $50 US, $80 Australian range sort of thing. You get this amount of trucks and you get Oliver, big piece in your collection. So that's what my goal sort of was to make it as simple as I could, but sort of worth the value for money that you were going to buy it at. Now, it was sort of a challenge because I wanted this siding which just had at least a couple of trucks that were sort of in the siding of that particular episode when Oliver was pulling along with Scruffy, and you could see those trucks in the background. I just wanted to sort of have two pieces in there, at least two pieces of truck. Now, the trouble with it was I had those, you can see those small adapters down the bottom. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opposite side for that switch point that I used so it's sort of connected properly, and it didn't fit well in, I guess that siding didn't work too well, but that was fine, it worked out. I'll have to get more of those pieces in the future if I'm going to want to do sidings like that where they continue. Another issue I ran into was I couldn't find my buffers. I'm pretty sure they might be out with my trains, to be honest. I was looking through my track pieces. I will have to go and cover that. That's fine. I'll figure that out in a later episode. But overall, I thought it looked good for what it was. And I said earlier as well, I'd show why I chose the rolling stock. Well, here's the examples of that. Side-by-side comparisons of what they are in my model to what they are in the show. I thought I did a great job with that. Obviously, a first run isn't too important in this model because all that happened in the show was Oliver pulled on Scruffy and Scruffy exploded. As you all know, you would have all seen that episode, a very iconic Thomas episode in the franchise and series, one of my all-time favourite episodes. But you had to show a run when you build a layout. Isn't that just the gist of why you build a layout with your Tommy Thomas tracks? Oliver is a really great character in the TV series, and I feel like his episodes are some of the absolute strongest Thomas episodes of all time. So to have him in Tommy form is amazing, and to put him on the rails with this layout is awesome to do. In review, now I had to make a few minor adjustments because I realized the layout looked a bit bland without the foliage and some, switches that just add a little bit of flavour to the whole Tommy Thomas world. They're very common, obviously, in the Tommy sets that used to come out back in the day when we were growing up. So I just chucked those in there, and I did another run just to show you what it looked like with those around the layout. Not much, but it adds something, and it is a nice addition. I'm glad that Tommy and the Takara team decided to add those particular pieces into their sets, because why not? It adds some flavour, it adds some colour, and it just makes the layouts look a bit more vibrant. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. I would also love to hear what is some of your favourite episodes, what are some of your favourite scenes in the Thomas universe, and what would you like to see going forward in this series, because I want to keep this going. Maybe once every 2 weeks I might do an episode on this and see how it goes. I hope this episode is quite successful, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. I have to add a bit more to it next time. I know I am learning this editing thing. I'm learning it slowly. It's getting there. This app is great that I'm using, and I'm really happy with it. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below, and I'll...
To the station they thundered, disaster lay ahead.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Master of Tracks channel, and today I have another custom Tommy Thomas track build for you. This is based off Dirty Objects, Season 1, Episode 23. Before we get started in the video, I'd just love to give a shout out to Two Brother Productions 5 for the suggestion on this particular Trackmaster Tomy Thomas custom model. They suggested dirty objects and I went ahead and did it because I thought it was a great idea. So far I've shown you the pieces you will need to build this set if you wanted to follow along and actually give it a go. I'm also showing you a time lapse of how I built it so you also can follow along with that in case at all for some reason you want to build this exact Tomy Thomas model. I don't see why you would, but if you do, that'd be awesome. Please share a photo with me if you end up finishing it. I really appreciate the support on last week's custom episode, and in this episode I tried to make it a lot more detailed. I know the time of the video is less, but the time I spent making it and trying to make it perfect for you all to follow along was a lot longer because I just wanted to show something that was easy to make at a good price range and would be realistic for something that Tomy would have made back in the day. Great thing about this episode is I found my buffers. They were in another box of sets and parts and with my Tidmouth sheds and all those kind of parts that they were in there. I got to use them in this and I decided to make a sighting because first of all, why not? And second of all, I always loved when Tomy sets came with sightings. It was always a great fun thing to, you know, you could put your trucks in there and it just made for a great extra on the playset. I know you're all wondering, why is there a Busy Bee James in this scene? Well, unfortunately, the two Jameses I had, mine and my brother's from when I was younger, no longer run. They are actually, we must have left a battery in them or something, and they are heavily rusted in the battery compartment. So unfortunately, I had to use a Busy Bee James, but you get the gist. It's James running on this playset. Not really necessary because he runs into two tar wagons and explodes, but that's fine. I'll just show you this as part of the playset fun. If you're all enjoying this series so far, I really would love to ask if you could like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out, and I'm loving making content for you all at the moment, and I'll keep pushing to come up with new ideas that haven't been done on YouTube for the Tomy Thomas world. So thank you so much to Two Brother Productions 5 for the great suggestion in making this episode for Dirty Objects. A fantastic Thomas episode from the very first season of Thomas, if you recall it. It was a really exciting event with James crashing into some tar and teasing Toby about looking too old, and then Toby gets him back because, you know, the tar wagons exploded all over James, which was really a great scene, and you can see it here now. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.
What a silly engine I am. And Thomas began to cry. Then, who should come to Thomas's rescue but Terence? Snow never worries him.
Welcome everyone to the Master of Tracks channel, and today I have another Tomy Thomas custom set. This is Thomas, Terence and the Snow, Season 1, Episode 13. To start, I want to thank Grandpa for the suggestion, and if you have any other suggestions for any custom Tomy Thomas sets you'd love to see built in the future, please leave a comment down below. I'll be basing these sets off of your suggestions, so please let me know if you'd like to see anything in particular. This set was a bit of a challenge just because of the subject matter and that it was a snow-based episode. Now, it doesn't snow in Australia, so I have no access to easy snow to make the set look more snowy or whatnot, but I guess my thought was if Tomy were making a set, they wouldn't have made it snowy. It would have just been sort of, maybe they would have used white tracks, which don't currently exist. So I just had to make it based on the story of the episode, and unfortunately couldn't highlight the actual snow issue from the episode. I'm still really happy with how it turned out. I primarily wanted to focus on this being a set that had road and track. This is my first custom set that I've done so far that has roads included. I included Thomas, Terence, obviously, and I included Bertie as well because Bertie was shown in the episode, and I don't know, I can't remember if it was he was named. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I remember they referred to him as just a red bus. So, but I did include him anyway. As you can see, my Terence is corroded and completely corroded, so he no longer works. So, unfortunately, because of that, I could not include him in the Ride the Rails. Also, I had an issue with Bertie as well. His motor's working, but the wheels weren't spinning, so I'll have to look into both of those things and try to fix them in the future, but I didn't have time to do it, unfortunately, for this episode. Yeah, so I'm having obviously a bit of a great run on that so far, with some of my engines sort of not working, and then now I've got 2 road engines which are not running. This is going to be sort of an issue, I think, going forward on this channel as I keep going through my stuff and making episodes with them where I need to motorize them. I'm going to notice that a lot of them don't work, so that sucks. Okay, so my final thoughts on this Tommy Thomas custom set. I'm very happy with it. I do wish I could have highlighted the snow portion of the episode, as that is a massive portion of it, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I wanted to make a big shout out to that small connector adapter. That is a massive lifesaver for me in my collection currently. I have used it in every episode so far, and it's gotten me out of a lot of pickles with connections and making the layout connect properly with the road being longer than the track and whatnot. I used the tunnel that I did because I wanted obviously to use both road and rail, so that was the perfect tunnel for that purpose. I was going to use one that was just a normal tunnel without any connections, and that wouldn't have worked as well as what I had used. Thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and please comment down below what you want to see next time. What custom Tommy Thomas set do you want to see next week? Sit back and relax and watch these custom box designs and box art that I made for this episode. Thank you all for watching.
Hurrah, 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 laughed the trucks. We've broken away, we've broken away. Chase him, bump him, throw him off the rails. They yelled, hurry duck, hurry, said the driver. They raced through Edward Station, but the trucks were catching up as fast as we can. Then they'll catch us gradually.
Welcome everyone to the Master of Tracks channel and to another episode of Custom Tommy Thomas train sets. This week we have a heavily suggested one. This is A Close Shave, Season 2, Episode 14. First of all, let's do our shoutouts. This week it's TomTom the E2 who suggested this twice in 2 different episodes, and Oliver Menzinger 6022. Both of them have suggested this episode and this set to be produced, so here it is. I hope you'll enjoy. I have been given a ton of suggestions for episodes to do in the future, and I really appreciate all of your support and commenting and suggesting. It means a lot to me. I will get to most of your suggestions eventually, but as time goes on, I'm sure I'm going to be piling them up, but they will come, believe me. As time goes on, we're going to be doing one of these a week, and we're going to be pumping out some great episodes in the future. I hope you all stick with me. This was actually a hard episode to base a Tommy set on because it's really a one-dimensional sort of scene where Duck is getting chased by trucks all the way to a station where he almost hits James and then runs into a barbershop. We've all seen this episode. This is a iconic Thomas episode, probably one of the most popular Thomas episodes of all time and one of my absolute favorites. I really tried to base this in a way where it had the runaway. You could have there's a little hill there where you can shoot the trucks off and they can chase Duck down there, and I added the station, of course, and then I had the siding where he runs into the house, or sorry, the barbershop that he runs into is obviously a really hard thing to replicate. There's no Tommy item that really looks like it, so I just used the house, the station that's on the base that came with the James starter set, which is the set I got that out of. And I think it worked well, and I'm really happy with how the set turned out. Once again, if you are all enjoying this series, if you're all enjoying the uploads on the channel, it'll mean a lot to me if you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. I appreciate your support so much. Giveaway to come at 1,000 subscribers. As you guys would know if you had watched the previous episode that I did with James in Dirty Objects, my Jameses, all 3 of them, they don't run, which is unbelievable for all 3 Jameses that I own not to run. Anyway, that's fine. I will sort that out in the future, but for now, you've been seeing Duck run all over this track. Here he is going to the siding where he runs into the barbershop. I'd also like to note that I did this set a bit differently. I've been a bit lenient on, what sort of coaches and carriages and trucks I include in sets, because I'm trying to make them cost effective and not cost $1 million per set sort of thing. But in this one I actually included every single truck that Duck pulls and both coaches that James pulls. I also included 2 engines, which is something I don't normally do because I just feel like there wasn't a lot of Tomy sets that I can remember coming with 2 engines unless you bought the Ultimate set or the Giant set or the Mega set, all those big cost expensive sets that were $200 Australian plus. But in this one I decided to include it because I felt like it was necessary to the story. I am really happy with how this set turned out overall. There's probably not a lot I could change except for the barbershop to be a lot more detailed, but unfortunately I'm sticking to pieces that were released by either Tomy or Hit Toys or Fisher Price to be included in this set. I could have done that out of Lego, but I wasn't going to do it for this set. I'm trying to stick to pieces you can get from Tomy sets, basically. I would love to know what you would have improved on this set. Please let me know in the comments down below. Please leave any feedback you can leave me in regards to what you would do in a Tomy Thomas set. How would you make it look? I would really appreciate to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. This segment right here is just a little added bonus. I love making these pictures. It's so nostalgic and it makes me excited to see what could possibly be a custom Tomy set in the future. I mean, it's not really a thing anymore. You can only buy them directly from Japan now, but when they were in Australia, it was so much fun and I absolutely loved the time with Tomy Thomas. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Welcome everyone to another custom Tomy Thomas playset creation. Going forward in this series, I will be doing things a little bit differently with my selection process for the video episode. The reason for this is because I have been getting so many amazing suggestions from you all on every episode I've made so far that I want to keep it fair and have a random comment selected. So on that, I will be using a random comment selector app to choose a comment from the previous week's video. And to be transparent with you all, I will always show at the start of each episode who is selected through the random generator app, which you've seen in today's episode. So if you want to be featured in upcoming episodes or your set featured in upcoming episodes, please leave a comment down below and you might be selected at random next week. This week's randomly selected episode was Special Attraction, which was recommended by that guy here 9085. I actually had to roll the dice twice because Dennis Laura, one of my amazing followers who always comments on all my videos, posted a comment saying how good the episode was but didn't suggest anything, so unfortunately I had to roll it again. And that guy here 9085 came through with the amazing suggestion. So, Special Attraction is the Season 4 Episode 25 episode, which is based on Bulstrode for the most part. Bulstrode is a cranky barge who sort of gets what he deserves. He had 2 trucks, well actually 5 trucks, fall on top of him in the ocean, full of clay and coal and whatever else was inside the trucks. I really enjoyed creating this custom playset based on an episode I've probably only seen a couple of times in my life. But it seems like it was a really awesome episode. I've been trying to keep every set that I've made so far unique in its own way, and that has been a challenge because there's only so many Tomy parts, unfortunately. But this one actually merged together quite well. I wanted to have the scene where Percy's pushing the trucks and they fall on Bulstrode as a highlighted part of it, and I thought it turned out fantastic. I also obviously included Toby with Henrietta, and that was because he was a prominent feature in the episode. If I were to price this set, including 2 engines, 3 rolling stock, Cranky the Crane, the Harper piece, Bulstrode, the extra crane from the Thomas and Terence Deluxe set, the station, I would price this at probably $100 Australian if it was retailed. Really seems like I love to include hills and mountains in my Tomy playsets. I think I've done them for all of the sets so far. However, they have been quite needed due to the story component of each episode that these sets are based on. And I gave this one an extra little turn up the top of the hill, which I just wanted to add its own flair, and in every set I will try to continue to do that as best I can. Now you are probably all wondering why the decision to include Harold the helicopter. Now that is because he was part of that station piece, and also because just gives a little bit more life to the entire layout. Once again, with another layout, I have more things that can't run now. In this one, it was the harbour. The harbour piece powers Cranker, who's meant to rotate on the base. And also, the station has a battery function, surprisingly, for Harold to fly around and swivel. Those two options are apparently non-existent, even though there's no rust to the both components, and I just didn't have the time to go and investigate what was wrong. So I will look into that, and hopefully in a future episode that need those two pieces, I'll have them both running. It's a great layout though for two engines to run on with Toby and Percy, and I'm really happy that they both work. I mean, they should, they're only about 2 years old, so if they don't work, we've got problems, but overall it looks amazing with the two engines running all over the track. This was an amazing suggestion from that guy here, 9085, an episode I would have never even thought of making a Tommy Thomas episode on, but looks great. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I hope you all are too. Please like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed. I'll see you all.
There's the station. Oh dear, what shall I do? He cried. He rattled straight through and swerved into the goods yard. Thomas shut his eyes. I must stop.
Welcome everyone to another custom Tommy Thomas set creation. This week's randomly chosen creation was recommended by Dick Shunt Limbu 3112 with the episode Thomas and the Truck Season 1 Episode 6. Another amazing recommendation this week, as this set was actually a lot of fun to make, as they've all been so far, so no surprise there. Those who have not seen this episode, I mean, how haven't you? It's one of the earliest Thomas episodes, and honestly one of their most recognisable episodes. This is really our first look into how the troublesome trucks operate on the Fat Controllers Railway and how devious they are. Thomas really struggles to learn in this episode. I was looking at a price range for this set at around 80 Australian dollars, so I wanted it to include a decent amount of track and some set pieces such as Knapford Station and the station piece. But I also had to sort of limit the amount of rolling stock that I could include. I know in the episode there is a lot more rolling stock featured, even Annie and Clarabella featured, but for $80 Australian, you were never going to get more than 5 pieces of rolling stock. Unfortunately, again with another Ride the Rails segment, the engine I wanted to use for this set doesn't run. I left a battery in there for God knows how long, so I had to use a basic 1992 Tommy Thomas engine. I'm sure that's okay though, as this track looks really good, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I tried to make it a bit wider than I have in the previous week's episodes. The purpose of the middle track area, the switch, was to imitate sort of a yard where you can store trucks. If you have extra rolling stock in your collection, I thought that would be a nice touch to add to this set. Once again though, this is a great and unique suggestion for a Tommy Thomas set. It's not one that I would have personally thought of if I was deciding on these sets myself. Leave a comment down below with your favourite Thomas episode of all time, and you might be able to see that randomly selected to be turned into a Tommy Thomas set next week. I forgot to mention that the infamous buffer scene where Thomas slows down and runs into the buffers, which is again not a very exciting crash, but it's the highlight scene of this episode. I featured them, however it wasn't long enough and I'm a bit disappointed in that. That's one thing I would change if I was to go back and review this set over again. Please let me know though, what would you have changed in this set? What did you like about this set? Let me know your feedback in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. Another great episode, another great suggestion. You guys are awesome. You guys have amazing thoughts and amazing favorite episodes. Some episodes that I wouldn't even have thought of for a custom Tommy Thomas set. But I digress. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your favorite episode. It might get chosen next week for a Tommy Thomas set creation. You guys are too awesome. We're almost at 1K. Let's hit it within the next week. Love you all. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Escape is the 21st episode of the 3rd series of Thomas the Tank Engine. An absolutely iconic episode which introduced us to Oliver and Toad. This has been a highly requested episode for my custom Thomas series, and luckily today it was randomly selected from one of the comments of last week's video. So we can all thank Big Buffer Productions 409 for suggesting this episode. I am very excited to share this custom build, so without further ado, here it is. If you haven't seen these videos before, the first part is always me showing you the pieces you will need if you yourself want to build this custom Tommy Thomas playset. It would be an awesome thing to see that someone out there has built one of my custom playsets that I've made so far. I highly doubt that's the case, but if you have, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I sort of inadvertently based the layout of this particular set on a Tomy Thomas Japan set, which was called the Lady and Diesel 10 Chasing Set. I wanted this set to have a feeling that whoever was playing with it could drive Douglas and push Oliver all around the track in a big way with a lot of straight in the middle. Yes, I included 2 wooden items. Now, obviously that wouldn't be in a Tomy set, but think of them as, there might be a Tomy made wooden item, the Fat Controller and the guard, because they were pivotal sort of figures in this episode. The guard stops Douglas and Oliver on the way out of the scrapyard and asks, you know, what are you doing? Why are you leaving the scrapyard with this engine? So I thought you had to have him in this set. It was a pivotal piece of the episode. I also made the decision to include a 3rd engine, which was Mavis, because I always liked the part where you see Diesel, Boko, and Mavis as they're driving out of the scrapyard. And you know it's those 3 engines, but it's so weird that they don't wake up when they hear engines drive past them. I thought that was bizarre. And then Mavis was the highlight on the way out of the scrapyard. You see her the back of her with those yellow and black markings that she has. Yeah, so this is sort of going to be quite a pricey playset. There's 3 engines, you get the Hit Toys Toad, you get 2 tankers, you get 2 troublesome vans. I would price this set actually at $200 Australian, which is huge, which would mean it'd be about $120 US. I don't know, you guys tell me, does that seem worth it? I would say so. You get Oliver, you get Douglas, you get Mavis. Great engines, really great characters, some of the original first few season characters. The siding that I included with the turntable was just a bonus, but I sort of wanted it to replicate Oliver going to the works building, which was featured in the episode, as you can see on the screen right now. I just wanted that to be a replication of that scene with the Fat Controller when he comes and inspects Oliver, I imagine, is how he knew he was there. Overall, I am happy with how this set turned out. I mean, I'm disappointed that I couldn't have a scrapped Oliver. I wish I had the money to afford a second Oliver engine. I do have a second Toad though, so I could have technically customized my second Hit Toys Toad into a scrap version, but I didn't feel like destroying that quite yet. Yeah, maybe in the future, who knows, I'll get a second Oliver and we can make a scrap Oliver that we can use to make another custom episode of Escape. That might be something in the future, but we'll see how that one in particular goes. Let me know if you like this episode in the comments down below, and while you're at it, please let me know your favorite Thomas episode and you might be able to be featured in next week's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching and keeping up with this content. Look forward to the giveaway in 2 weeks' time. Thank you guys. Bye. Stephanie Gets Lost is the 13th episode of the 5th season of Thomas the Tank Engine, an episode in which Stepney detours into the Sodor Ironworks, where we are introduced to 2 new diesels who look suspiciously like 2 other diesels we've seen before. Their names are Iron Ari and Iron Bert. They are evil diesels with the intent of putting Stepney to scrap. Obviously they don't succeed because the Fat Controller was somehow there to stop it. Anyway, thank you to Noah Bell 9585 for the suggestion of this week's episode. I'm very excited to share this custom build with you, so without further ado, here it is. This was a really unique episode suggestion and I absolutely loved it. I never ever would have thought of Stepney Gets Lost as a custom Tomy Thomas set. If you want to see your favourite episode or even Thomas movie scene featured in next week's episode, comment down below what your favourite is. I did this particular layout in a really interesting way. I've never built a layout like this before, I've got to say, and I think it turned out really awesome. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. You are all wondering, why the hell did I use the Sodor engine wash for this set? Well, because it was the closest Tomy item, Trackmaster item I had that resembled Stepney going into the ironworks and getting picked up by the grabber, so I used it and we can think of it as it's an ironworks piece. Obviously though, as you can see, I included both Ari and Bert and Stepney in this set, so you get all 3 of the main characters of the episode Stepney Gets Lost, plus I included the Fat Controller and 2 guards as wooden figures because I thought, again, this week they were integral to the episode as well. I was really excited though because I was able to finally use the two big iron bridge pieces that I own in a layout, and I thought they worked really well in this set. The reason for their inclusion is because there was a scene where Stepney was seen going across an iron bridge. Not a red one, but a red one in this set. Again though, please let me know, what do you think of this layout style? Like, the way I did this was absolutely bizarre, and I don't know even how it turned out like this. I just needed a way to incorporate the iron bridge right in the middle of it and somehow still make the track wide enough for two trains to fit, like Ari and Bert, so they can go side by side on the layout. Oh well, I digress. It works. It works somehow. I don't even know how it all connected, but that's the fun of Tomy. That's the fun of the Tomy tracks. This is why I'll always be a Tomy boy at heart. I do like the Tomy tracks a lot more than the Trackmaster 1 tracks, just because they're so much more durable and flexible, and I can get away with doing illegal connections a lot easier. It's all in good fun, people. It's all in good fun. I mean, illegal connections are great in the Tomy Thomas world, and we all do them. We all love to do them because it gives us more variety on our tracks. This was actually a really fun set. This is the most unique one I feel like personally I've done so far. I mean, you might disagree with me. Please let me know if you do disagree with that, of course, but to me, I think this turned out great. I had a lot of firsts. I was able to finally use my iron bridge. I was able to use a Sodor engine wash, albeit not in the way it was intended, but that's the fun of it. That's what you're meant to do with a creative layout. I'd love to see your Tomy Thomas, Trackmaster Revolution Thomas creations. Please let me know what they are in the comments. I'm gonna have to set up a Twitter or an Instagram so I can actually get you guys to send me photos of things you've made, because I'd absolutely love to see them and react to them in a video possibly in the future. My final thoughts on this set is that it looks awesome, and I love the suggestion for this episode. I love the unique episodes you guys put out there, and I wish I could do them all day, every day. But unfortunately, I have a job, so it's a bit impossible to do all day, every day. If you enjoyed this video though, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel for more custom Tomy Thomas builds in the future, and I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. I'll see you all later. Bye bye. The Flying Kipper is the 19th episode of the first season of Thomas the Tank Engine, a very popular episode that features Henry pulling the famous Flying Kipper for the first time on screen. On a snowy winter morning, Henry has what might be the most famous crash in the entire Thomas series, getting veered into the wrong siding due to the ice which caused the switch point to freeze. He runs straight into a brake van which is parked in a siding, almost killing the crew inside that was having hot cocoa. Obviously though, they got out just in time. Thank you in particular to Awesomely1634 who has been begging for this episode for a long time. I'm very excited to share this custom build with you all. So without further ado, here it is. It is finally here, the Flying Kipper, the long awaited and requested Flying Kipper Tomy Thomas custom set episode. I am so excited that this episode is finally here and I can share it with you all today. You can probably all notice there's a difference in quality with my lighting in this episode, and I apologize for that. I have recently moved into a new place, so from now on episodes will all be set up in this area, and I will need to acquire better lighting for those future episodes. But on with today's episode. So for this set, I really took this seriously because I know how much people have wanted the Flying Kipper, and I honestly did not realize it was such a popular Thomas episode. I made sure to include many new techniques in this episode that I haven't used in previous episodes, and it's getting difficult to come up with new ideas, but we used the double wide overhead tracks that were featured in the Thomas Giant set. I haven't done that yet, and I've done it in today's episode, which is really exciting. A price point for this set, I would price it actually at $100 Australian, which would be $70 US, and I know that's cheap, but Awesomely himself asked me to make these sets cheaper, so let's say it's $100 Australian today. I did include two Henry engines. I included the Tomy 1993 version and the Plarail 2017 version. And the reason for that is, well, I basically want to say this is the new Henry and this is the old Henry after he had the accident. Unfortunately, neither of those convey that because they're both the new Henry, but that's fine. Let's be imaginative. Now, my 1993 Tomy Henry no longer runs, even though the battery box, it looks pretty much brand new still. I just can't get it to run for the life of me. I'm really going to have to learn how to be a Tomy Thomas engine mechanic because I have no skills in that at all at this point. But that's fine, I will learn that in the future, and we'll come back to you with some episodes on how to fix Tomy engines, I'm sure. Now, for pieces I included a bridge. As you can see, I included the red iron bridge, which was a little scene in the episode. Again, not a red bridge, but in Tomy, all bridges are red or green, apparently. Of course, I included the harbour piece with Cranky. I included Cranky. I know he wasn't seen yet in the Thomas series at that point, but he is a crane, and there was cranes in the harbour, and he's the piece that attaches to it, so let's live with it, that's fine. Just imagine him without a face. And I included all of the rolling stock pieces. I included his entire train, which was 4 vans. I used cattle vans, they sort of replicated what was seen. It included a brake van and then a truck, which I used the Flying Kipper truck that came with the player Henry. Of course, I used the brake van that was in the siding. I used 2 Troublesome Trucks Season 1 that were my custom ones, and then I used the Tomy brake van as well to capture that scene where he gets picked up by James in the brake van. Once again, another feature by the wooden figures, because they're going to become a staple. I need to get the Tomy figures. The Tomy, the little tiny Fat Controller, and the guards. I need to get those. I used to have the Fat Controller. I don't know where that is. And the other day I saw the guards in a set. I need to get those at some point. I don't know where the hell I'll find them though. If anyone can point that out, I have never seen them for sale on eBay. Overall though, I'm really happy with how this set turned out. It's a big one. I added an extra siding as well as the siding where Henry has his accident. I know it's not 100% accurate to the scene in the show, but I have this table to use and it fit perfectly in this layout, which I'm quite happy with. I hope you all are happy with this set. I know it's been so heavily requested and it must be a super popular episode that I just hope I've done it justice. I wish I had the snowy Tomy tracks, but unfortunately I don't have those. If you did enjoy this custom Tomy Thomas set, please consider leaving a like on the video as well as subscribing to the channel if you aren't subscribed. I really appreciate everyone's support on my videos and I'm so glad to be back after my 2-week break. Look out for more awesome content though coming this week. I have an awesome unboxing video of a train in particular that I shared on my community post not that long ago, so look out for that. I hope you all have a great week and I'll see you later on. Pop Goes the Diesel is the 12th episode of the 2nd season of Thomas the Tank Engine. One of the most memorable episodes in the entire Thomas franchise. A new engine arrives on Sodor and to everyone's surprise it is a diesel engine. Diesel is very devious and is quite hateful of steam engines. Duck sees right through his snickering smile and decides to play a trick on him, setting Diesel up for failure with some old trucks that haven't been used for years. Diesel gets the humbling of a lifetime when he can't pull the trucks due to their brakes being on, and oh boy don't the trucks that are watching get the laugh of a lifetime singing this classic tune. I wanted to let you all know that I'm also changing the selection style for this series. Future episodes will now be voted on and selected by you, the supporters of this channel. I will be running polls in my YouTube community tab 5 days a week. For the first 4 days of each week, I will randomly select 4 comments from any of the custom set videos that have been done so far. You will vote for your favourite of the 4 episodes that have been selected each day. And the last day of each week will be the 4 winning episodes against each other, and whoever comes out on top will be next week's episode. I hope that made some sort of sense. If you need any clarification, let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for all your support. Now, on to the custom set. Pop Goes the Diesel is one of my personal all-time favourite Thomas episodes. I loved this episode as a kid. I just loved the giant feature of the Troublesome Trucks. As I've told you before, I loved episodes with Troublesome Trucks included in mass amounts. And my focus on this pack was to make it sort of like the Thomas and Freight Car set that came out in 2003. I wanted it to have a heavy emphasis on cargo and Troublesome Trucks and vans. I also included a massive amount of engines. I included Duck, Diesel, James, Henry, and Gordon. I included all of the main protagonists of this episode. Sorry, and the antagonists of the episode. As you can also tell, this is the first episode I've made that's come with Tidmouth Sheds, and I thought it was a very key piece of the Pop Goes the Diesel episode of Thomas and Friends. However, it is a Trackmaster 1 Tidmouth Sheds. Now this is a problem because I don't have any other Trackmaster 1 items and I don't have any connector pieces from Trackmaster Tomy tracks. But not to worry, I went and bought some of those connection pieces off eBay today and they should arrive this week. Obviously not in time for this episode, unfortunately. If you're enjoying this series so far, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Also, leave a comment down below with your favourite episode to be selected for next week. I know this set is basic as hell in its style and it looks exactly like that old Tomy Freight set. However, it had to be done this way. I'm quite happy with how it turned out, to be honest. You can have Diesel and Duck running side by side all around the track, plus all the trucks that were seen in the scene visibly are included. You guys know I had to include the Sodor Works unit coach and the breakdown train. I had to because it was so funny, Diesel having to clean up his own mess. That was brilliant by Duck. Price point for this set is going to be a big one because it includes 5 engines and so much rolling stock. I'm going to put this at $200 Australian, meaning it's $150 USD. Yes, I know all my episodes are really expensive to make. Well, that's just in my retail price. They'd be a lot cheaper to make if you bought bulk lots and such. If I made the sets any smaller, these videos would only be 2 minutes long and that would suck for viewers. I would rather them be 5 minutes and be a decent sized set for you all to look at. To round out this week, I am very, very pleased with this set. I also made the song using this set, which you will see at the end of this video. If you all enjoyed this episode, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, comment down below, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.
Trucks are waiting in the yard, packing them with Diesel. Show the world what I can do, gaily boasts the Diesel. In and out he creeps about like a big black weasel. When he pulls the wrong trucks out, pop goes the Diesel.